another episode of Dear Hollow Heroes. I'm not even going to address the tank for Caleb Williams in New England and a bunch of other teams, but we got some real energy in Philly. Some of it is excitement and some is current frustration. But for which sport? There is also another ref controversy and some interesting fight news. And as always, I'm here with Meek Man Liam Meekum.
What's going on, guys?
And Robespierre Rob Kelly.
All right, mate.
All right, okay. I was gonna. You know what's funny? The first thing I was going to address was the fact that you're back after a week missing.
Yeah.
But Rob found a way, and
now we have to talk about this.
And one sound to steal your thunder. So, Rob, what's up with the?
Oh, I was just having fun.
With the Australian accent?
If you want, I can keep it going.
Nope.
All right.
Nope. Let's shut that down.
Well, we know who he's pulling for this Saturday night. Clearly not Makachev.
Kamaru Usman.
But welcome back, Liam. How was your week of being fired? You said, and I quote, as we stated on the podcast last week, you said, and I quote, "I'm smarter than all of you. I am leaving, and I'm never coming back." So what changed?
So you left out a small portion where I called you both dum-dums. The studio, I went in, I wasn't happy with my current contract. They threw money at me, and I said, you know what? I'll come back. I'll do the pods with these inferior morons. And here I am, happy to be back.
I hope the $7 is worth it.
Wait, you actually caved and paid him?
Is Ben the studio? Even I'm confused about this metaphor.
I'm assuming we record on his laptop.
So how was Sweeney Todd?
It was very good.
We didn't even bring up that that's what he was actually doing, did we?
No, the title of the episode is Liam Was Fired, or the Broadway show.
Oh, okay.
But let's get straight into the first story. Over the last few weeks, if not for the last forever, there has been an abundance of controversial calls in sports. Like last Sunday Night Football, the final play, there was a clear and obvious hold on Darren Waller, but it was not called, giving the Bills a win they didn't fully deserve. Baseball is a little over 90% umpire accuracy on balls and strikes, which, by the way, is a 10% increase, so they are getting better, but it's still only 90%. And that is about 1 to 2 bad pitches per inning, wrongly called, per inning. So, guys, how do we fix officiating in all sports? Like, what do you think you should do? And you could go on each sport. Like, how do we solve these officiating problems?
Well, I think if there was an easy answer, we'd already be there, right?
There is easy answers.
I think the easy answer is robots, but we're not there yet.
I agree. Yeah, you could go all robotic, but I mean, especially in baseball, you could go all robotic. But then it takes away that
the Angel Hernandez of it all.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's
just
like
a human element of the sport.
This human appeal that it's just like, all right, things can go wrong and it can help you, it can hurt you. It's just, I don't know. It sucks because you can win and still lose the game. You know what I'm saying?
No, I completely understand what you're saying. Well, we saw it on Sunday night with your Giants and Darren Waller, where he got grabbed on the jersey.
Well, that officiating all night was horrible. Did you see the pass interference call too? Or I'm sorry, not the pass interference, the roughing the passer call too?
Yeah, on Josh Allen, where it was clear and obvious he did not.
Oh, it was horrible.
He did not. He went.
I think that was worse than the holding call in the end zone.
It wasn't. See, I could see how it could get called because looking at it, I watched the replay a bunch of times. I could see how that one could.
They
get called.
high-fived in the air. It was barely a foul in basketball.
He fell straight to the ground, right?
I don't even know if he fell.
But
it's not like the guy's tackling the ground.
Throwing.
Are we on the same penalty here?
Josh Allen's the cornerback.
He's trying to
was
move
he in the
out
pocket?
of his...
Was he in the pocket on this hit,
No.
or was he outside, like
rolling.
by the numbers?
By the numbers.
By the numbers, and he was rolling. Yeah, I think he got hurt on that play. So if a quarterback gets hurt,
he didn't get hurt.
No,
We're talking about last week, right?
you got to show me what you're talking about, because I think there's two different hits. Maybe it's the same, but if it's the one that I'm thinking, I can see how that one can get called. But at the end of the day, this is what's the problem with officiating in sports. I have two major ones. One, and this one's the one that can be fixed by the leagues themselves. There are too many gray area calls. But there's a couple that are just in shooting fouls.
Are we talking about in basketball?
Yeah. Like even in basketball, like there's so many controversial gray area flags.
It's just so tough, and there's so many fouls called throughout the game
it's just so much gray
There's also
area.
so many fouls called not called throughout the game rather, because the refs can't watch everything. which is another part of the human element, is they only catch what they see.
That's why there's two ways to solve this. One, you have to have a black and white structure. There shouldn't be gray area in the situation. It shouldn't be up to the ref and like if it's this and that, like if this happened, or like it should be, did he grab his jersey? And like I'm talking about pass interference right now. Did he grab his jersey? Did he inflict the way that he could catch the ball straight up? End of story.
I have to disagree. I don't mind that there's inconsistencies in the rules.
Why?
Because as long as the ref himself is consistent, it's not an issue. It's when refs become inconsistent that we see a problem. When we see one team called with a foul, and then the same exact thing happens to another team, and we don't see the foul. That's where my problem is. I don't care if one ref wants to call a game one way and one ref wants to call a game another way. That's fine. Just like a strike zone. If you want a little bit of a wider strike zone, if you want a little bit of a shorter strike zone, I don't care. As long as it goes both ways. Because then both teams are on an equal playing field. But when you start randomly calling fouls, especially when it's in favor of one team over the other, there's a real problem.
I think personally there shouldn't be it's the ref. You should not study the rules based on your ref. You should study the rules based on your sport. That's what you play the sport for. You should have the ability to play it, and if you mess up, you commit a foul, you should be punished for it. Straight up, you should play the rules. I don't like when games are decided by a dude that I don't care about, that sits there making sure the game's played right. I don't want Angel Hernandez dictating the end of a baseball game. I don't want Cleet Blakeman determining the end of a football game.
But if they're consistent and the players are aware of what is going on, it's just another element.
But it shouldn't be that way. It should not have to be we study for the ref. It should be we study the sport. But if there are people that agree with you in this term, I go to my second opinion on officiating. They should be held so much more accountable than they are.
They should be held accountable.
It's unbelievable how they just get a grade and go, you might not call the Super Bowl.
I agree.
And that's ridiculous. You should be, if you have a certain amount of calls missed or underperforming, you shouldn't be in the NFL anymore. Straight up. That's ridiculous. You should not be calling any games. Angel Hernandez, who is the most infamous bad officiator of a sport, shouldn't have a job doing what he does. Because in jobs, if I don't remember how the workforce works, you get your job based on your performance. You keep your job based on a performance level, and you get promoted if you do well, and you go down if you do bad.
If that was necessarily true, Rob wouldn't be on this podcast.
Exactly, but we also need to learn about accountability.
Exactly.
But anyway, to my point.
I just also live here, so I just get to join the show.
Anyway, why'd you just be okay with it?
I expected way more of a fight.
But anyway.
I'm just happy to be here.
No, I agree. Accountability is important. I do disagree. I think that as long as the ref is consistent, I don't mind where he wants to take the game, because I almost feel like it's another aspect. It gives you that human aspect without making it the decider of games. If you know your ref, you're going to improve your play. I like that that's a thing.
Well, there are certain things where you can't necessarily improve your play based off of a ref, especially if they're making bad calls. Well, it's hard to... Now, I know that's very specific. But another kind of issue you run into, especially with, Ben's black and white, no gray areas, if you take the time to have, eyes in the sky, rewatching every play for every single foul, the games are going to go so much
It's not going to be worth watching.
There's a holding on every play. Almost every shot has a shooting foul, but you can't call all of them. You just can't. Otherwise, the game moves too slow.
This play. It was the play I saw. I could see on a blind eye. Why they call it, but it is a bad call.
It's a horrible call. It's one of the worst I've ever seen.
I could see where they saw it, but this is my problem.
That was worse.
Gray area. There's a gray area. See how we're disagreeing? It should be that is a roughing the passer. That isn't a roughing the passer. Straight up. At least on the plays. You know what? How about this? I'll make a compromise. At least on plays that are past the fourth quarter, it should be concrete.
How do we do that when the actual rule itself is to prevent excessive violence?
This sport is just excessive violence.
That's not what we're talking about. You want a concrete rule when at its core, we are trying to prevent excessive violence. What's excessive violence?
It's a gray area.
It's a
gray area. At its core, it is a gray area.
So the problem is they need to have. There is a way to concrete it. Whether
we just pour concrete on the field, we're not playing on this new fancy turf. We're not going back to grass.
But my point is I know that excessive violence to some is opinionated, but they need. That's why we
not to some, to all.
To all, sure, but that's why the commissioner exists. He needs to be the one person that has. This is what excessive violence is.
So what would you make it?
What would I make it? I would make helmet to helmet. I agree with that. If it involves, if a person leads with their helmet, even if it's accidental, that's not cool.
So what if the offense dips into the defense?
What do you mean?
Offensive player lowers his helmet into the defensive
Same,
player.
does not matter which side. If the player leads with their helmet, it's helmet to helmet.
So what if both players are leading with their helmet?
Then it's offsetting. It's just...
We're calling both penalties?
Yeah, it does not matter if it's head-to-head.
But a running back lowers his shoulder and therefore his head on every play.
You're just saying it's gray, that's cool. I'm saying it should not be that gray.
No, I'm saying it's up to the refs for consistency.
That's still not good. They all need to be consistent. This is not like, ref Ed Hockley allows them to be overpowered, but this guy doesn't.
But you just
ridiculous.
said that the league will never in our lifetime realistically get to a consistency.
Get to a full, but they should all be aligned. The refs should be consistent. The rule itself will never be fully exact. Like, there'll always be a little bit of like, okay, was that not?
I don't
At the
see
end
it
of the
happening.
day, they should all be aligned on the same page.
I don't see it
And
happening.
be held way more accountable. Way more accountable. That's ridiculous.
They should be. I agree with you. That's the one thing here that is a consistency in our arguments, at least, is that they should be held accountable.
The most accountable, I think, is college football, and because if you are a bad ref, you don't get the top 25 games. But that's not enough. You should just not have a job. I'm sorry.
It's similar in baseball where the bad umpires don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that's just the playoffs.
It's just the playoffs. I think there should be a large portion of their salary that's a bonus. If you make the percent of calls that you make correctly throughout the year, that's the percent of the bonus you make.
I think there's a chance umpires have special contacts in their eyes that have the little square, and sometimes they shift while they're umping.
Rob, I'm really glad you've been a vital part of this conversation.
But anyway, let us know what you guys think about the officiating in sports. Tell us your hot takes. Tell us what you guys think on our socials at Deer Hollow
Tell Benny's
Heroes.
wrong.
Tell Liam he's an idiot at Deer Hollow Heroes.
Rob, you're doing great though.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
The only reason he's here is because he walked in, right? He lives here, right?
Yeah,
That's what he literally
stumbled
said.
in.
Right.
Quite literally, I woke up from a nap right before this.
Well, we need Rob for this next story because Red October continues with a 4-game series win for the Philadelphia Phillies over the Atlanta Braves, the number 1 team in the league. Liam's World Series champions in his bracket are gone, but Rob's World Series champions are still alive. But the World Series losers are also gone in Rob's eyes. But the D-backs swept the Dodgers, the Rangers swept the O's, and there's always Houston creeping around the corner. So which of these teams in the CSs are the most poised for a chip?
Philly.
Easy.
All right, next story.
I'm sorry, but if you haven't been watching and you get a chance, watch a game where the Phillies are at Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, man.
There is nothing better. Last night, the game started with a first pitch home run. Well, yes.
Yeah, first pitch.
Yeah, well, first pitch home run. It was technically the bottom of the first by Kyle Schwarber. That was an absolute missile, and the crowd started rocking, and it did not stop or slow at any point after that.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. But I don't see any other team. Like, I could see Houston just because they've been there before. They have like the guys that have the experience, but just something about the Rangers. I have trouble believing in them.
They're up 2-0.
I know they're up 2-0, and that's why I say I think if Houston goes, I think Philly has a tougher time. Although the starting pitching has struggled over there in Houston. But I think the Rangers, I don't know. They do get Scherzer back. That should be the next game, right?
That's not, in my opinion, that's not going to be as monumental.
You never know.
You never know. He
You
could
never
come
know.
back as 2019 postseason Scherzer.
Could be.
Yeah.
But the last starts he's had before the injury have
We're not good,
proven-
yeah.
Yeah, he has
But
not
you know what?
been great.
You got to give them the shot.
Of course.
They're up 2-0. They looked good so far.
This
They've
is
done
the
better
per-
than I thought they were going to do.
This
They
is the
just
perfect
hit.
situation to get him in. This
And
is
they're
the perfect situation.
top to bottom. There's some good hitting on that roster. Good
That-
defense and good hitting.
And that's what's getting them through series.
Yeah.
Is the hitting and
Well, not
the
even
defense.
getting them through series. They're 7-0.
You're right. You're
They're
right.
not getting through series.
They're dominating.
They're the only undefeated team left in the postseason.
But I still have trouble believing in them, and I can't really point to one thing or another of why. But I just believe in Philly more, as much as that sucks to say.
I think Philly just has a more experienced lineup through and through. Everyone except Pache, their center fielder, is a ball player and has been a ball player. You have Bryce Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber, JT Realmuto, Trey Turner. These are all names.
Yeah.
They're not just some guys who've played baseball. If you know baseball, you know these names.
And the thing is, they have that X factor that's just, you're like, wow, that's a championship team.
There's a lot of World Series champions on the team, and a lot of World Series experience on the team.
True.
So I think that's going to also be huge for them.
And we don't think the Diamondbacks good, right?
No,
I don't see it.
the way Philly just jumped on them game one.
They didn't lay down.
They came back.
Slowly but surely.
Yes, but they started off with Zach Gallen,
Yeah, I
your
know.
best pitcher, and he goes up and gives up. What did he give up? 4?
Well, they were also facing Wheeler, and Wheeler was dealing.
You gotta
Dealing.
you gotta face the best in the
You
postseason.
do. No, absolutely. But yeah, Gallen did not look good at all.
I think
2 home runs in the first inning was
Didn't
not
look
good.
to give, because we all think Philly's the best team left, to give the D-backs credit, I think the D-backs face Houston and Texas. I think it's like way more advantage towards D-backs and like compared to how they are with the Phillies right now. I think it's going to be it would be a tight series with the Texas Rangers and the.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think the Rangers and D-backs would go 6. I think the the D-backs and Houston could go between 5 and 7 based on how Houston played.
I don't know if this sounds crazy or not, but I think the Texas Rangers are going to put up a better fight against Philly than the Houston Astros will, only because Philly's been there, done that with the Astros in the World Series, and they want to win bad. But so do the Rangers, and the Rangers, they're just hitting.
Yeah.
They're just getting base hits after base hits, and every once in a while the ball goes over the wall.
It has been cool to see a Battle of Texas though in the CS.
It has.
You don't get to see it often.
You know what I think is going to happen, though? I don't think there's going to be a single victory in the World Series at Citizens Bank Park for any other team but Philly.
I thought you were just going to stop there. It's not going to be a single one.
Nobody
We're just
wins.
Gonna flip a coin. No one won
A
any
lot of
game out of
ties.
7.
And the Tigers win!
Well, that would still be a win for someone.
Can you imagine? Just like, we did it, guys.
We're splitting the commissioner trophies in half this year. There's too much conflict already.
Anyway, so, and you know what I got to say with the division series? Which team do you think was the more embarrassing of a loss? What do you think? Who had the
Dodgers.
Who had the most embarrassing loss in the division series? You have the Dodgers, the O's, the Twins, and the Braves.
This
Which
should not
one?
be a difficult question. It's the Dodgers.
It's the Dodgers.
Dodgers?
Easily. The Braves were the better team, but they lost to the better team. We could all see Philly going to the World Series. The Dodgers got swept. Not even
No. They didn't just get swept.
They got
They got demolished by the Diamondbacks.
Demolished by the Diamondbacks.
A team which they consistently beat during the regular season. But come postseason, you couldn't do it. You put out your best pitchers, you couldn't do it.
No, it was bad.
I also gotta say, we can't just let the O's get away with how bad they played. They got swept by the Rangers, and there was 2 games in Baltimore.
They're young.
That was
They put up fights.
But
They weren't
but
blown
still.
out like the Dodgers were. Mookie Betts had 0 hits. That is embarrassing.
It's
no,
not
I agree.
close.
The
Yeah, it's
Dodgers is the most embarrassing, but I think the O's don't deserve to just be like, "Oh, they're young, move on." That was not a good performance by them either. Now,
I have them winning next year on Rob's.
On my bet,
On
that
Rob's
I've been saying that the O's are winning the World Series next year.
well, so far his 2023 World Series champions are still alive in the Final Four.
He didn't call it as early, but
No, I did not.
But hey, he is Nostradamus for now. So, we have got...
I thought it was the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I thought he said...
What?
You said Notre Dame. Yeah.
Nostradamus.
Nose to Damus?
Yep.
Pick your nose, Adamus.
Willie Adamus?
Speaking of...
Speaking of Willie Adamus, we're going to talk about the
Willie
Brewers.
Adamus. He's like, yes, my story.
Dan Connolly!
Dan Connolly.
I was talking about Dan Connolly this weekend. It was just really
Were you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just your...
We talk about Dan Connolly way too much.
More than we thought we would.
Yeah.
Our weekly Dan Connolly thoughts. College football had two of their biggest celebrities
Flawless transition.
Ben's famous transitions.
Serious meltdown last weekend. On Friday night, Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes blew a 29-point lead and lost to the 1-4 Stanford. Then on Saturday night, Caleb Williams threw 3 picks to Notre Dame in their losing effort. Who of these two had a more embarrassing loss? And who lost more faith from their fans? Meaning, like, did Caleb Williams lose more draft stock or more faith? I didn't know how to word that.
No, I appreciate you dumbing it down for all our feeble minds. Thank you.
That's actually just me.
Why are you just so okay with this?
No one even came at you that time.
I was about to put it on Liam on that one. Like, I don't know how. Whatever.
I think we've said this before, but we knew Colorado wasn't going to be the best team in college football
but
the
either
entire
way.
time. But a blowout like that to end up losing is also very insane.
That was bad. I don't know. That's a good question. That one's honestly close.
I think
Caleb Williams lost a lot off that hype train.
he did, but every quarterback has a bad game. You can't see the first one and then go, well, that's it. He's ruined forever.
I agree with you, and I think it's Colorado, just for this reason alone, is we're going to see more repercussions talking about Colorado. Caleb Williams will still be the first quarterback off the board. 100%.
It's just whether or not he's the first pick.
I don't even think that's in question. I think it's if the team needs a quarterback, it's him. If not, it's not him.
This is a question for another.
But I think
for another question.
I agree, but I think Colorado will have a little bit more trouble recruiting now that they lost to a Stanford team after gaining this much clout this quickly. And then, you go and throw a lot of it away off of a really bad comeback loss.
Here's the problem with that. They're going to lose a lot of people because of their trash talk, and they're not backing it up ever since the whole watch thing. And when they went 3-0, they've been unable to back it up.
I know.
Going 1-3 since all this.
And if you lose to a good team, fine. You know what? You didn't have the firepower. You shouldn't have beat them anyways. But you lost to Stanford.
Yeah.
And some more credit to Caleb Williams. Notre Dame is a famed college football
Very
school.
good football team, yeah.
They've had a football program that's been one of the better football programs for the better part of a century now. So it's not like they're playing Stanford. It's a better team.
True.
But with Caleb Williams, I think that when I watched that game, it really appeared that he just was unable to deal with the unbelievable amount of pressure, and the defense really just... What? What?
The headphones were scratching against your beard really bad, and I'm sure the mic picked it up at some point, so I wanted you to move them. At first I went like this, and you went... I was like, you know what? I see where he came to that conclusion. I get it. So I went, no. Like this. And you went...
and put them back on. And your hat also.
By the way, I'm gonna be real. I was just saying words because I was too busy listening.
I know, guys. I could hear the dialogue, and it was just mindless chatter at that point. I was like, all right.
They're both trying to read each other's lips, neither of them understanding.
Can I say my actual opinion?
Huh?
What you do?
I said, read these lips. What?
Just going to lean in for a kiss to Rob.
No.
Liam has a crush on Rob.
Now we have to cut it.
All right. So
is there a way you could save that? But
please don't
it from the episode.
Burn it. Burn all the computers. Burn the mics.
So,
see, that wasn't as convincing. I'm actually okay now.
Watching Caleb Williams on Saturday night, watching Caleb Williams on Saturday night really helped me realize that defense was unbelievable that game. So it was kind of more like they were playing out of their mind, and the Irish were playing really well. So it's one of those moments where you're like, yes, should he have thrown 3 picks? No. But the defense did earn, I'd say, one of them. I think one of them was a bad throw. And watching the game, you're kind of like, he was put in a lot of bad situations. It was just a great defensive game. But Colorado, they were in the driver's seat and just crashed and burned. Like, it was from the get-go that Caleb Williams walked out on a really tough, situation in the first quarter. And he actually did a little bit better in the second half.
Yeah.
But just Colorado, I don't know. If you play better in the second half than the first half, you kind of get away with it more than if you played bad in the second half and did well in the first half, in my opinion. So I put Colorado as more embarrassing and lost more stock and faith. But speaking of Caleb Williams, I was thinking about this because we were doing tank for Caleb Williams. And right now, the teams that are in the tank bowl leading, weirdly enough, is not the Panthers at 0-6. The Chicago Bears, at the Panthers being 0-6, lead the Caleb Williams tank bowl.
They have, two top picks.
And then there's
But
also
he
the
came out and
Bears.
said he's not going to play for certain teams.
Oh, what teams do you say he would
So
play
hold on,
for?
let me find it real quick because I know the Giants were on there.
So we have to do the
pretty
tank
sure the
bowl.
Patriots were on
So
there.
at this point in time, the teams that are eligible for the Caleb Williams Draft Bowl is the Panthers, which means the Bears. So the Bears times 2. Then there's the Cardinals. Then there's the G-Men. And almost you guys lost your chance, but that would have been a good win. So I would have been like, whatever.
I would have taken
also
it.
you're
I don't
keeping-
root for losing. I can't.
You can't root for losing. I hope you don't win this bowl, but it's a consolation prize for having a rough year. The Patriots, the Broncos, and that's really it. Now, I think that, personally, if the seasons keep trajecting the way they are, the Patriots will keep themselves in the mix because the next 2 weeks are guaranteed L's, in my opinion, with the Bills and the Finns. No way. So, they're going to keep themselves in it. Do you guys have an easy schedule coming up? The G-Men? Oh, you're facing the Commanders.
We have the easiest part of our schedule coming up.
You got the G-Men. You guys got the Commanders, the Jets, the Raiders. You could walk away 1-2 from there.
We could walk away 3-0.
You could walk away 3-0. You could also walk away 0-3 depending on how these teams come out.
I agree. That's why I thought that Buffalo win would have been huge, because we could then go into Washington, or play at home against Washington, play at home against the Jets, Las Vegas. Dallas will probably
There
lose
is no
to.
such thing as home field advantage against
I know.
the Jets, yeah.
And then we got Washington again. We got New England in a beatable game. We got Green Bay. We got New Orleans. Then we got to play Philly, Rams, Philly. And by that time, Philly will probably be resting starters.
So you think you could see a miracle?
I thought if we beat the Bills on Sunday night, you see a little bit of spark. I think there's a shot we sneak into the playoffs, especially in a weak NFC.
At 1-5.
Not anymore. The hope is all but dimmed.
Well, I've had the same thought process against the Raiders. I was like, you could see a miracle, like turning the page.
Yeah, but the Raiders aren't the Bills.
No, I know. But I know your point, though. I
Yeah.
had that same feeling. But I think that you guys have a better schedule remaining. But so right now, what did Caleb Williams say is his teams he play for?
I think he said anywhere.
He said anywhere?
Yeah.
So right now, the first overall pick will go to the Bears, and I'm just gonna go up from the division. So the Panthers get the first overall, the Bears get the first overall pick. Sorry, I keep forgetting. So would they, and 2 picks, pick him?
I think probably.
Probably. Really?
You wouldn't?
With Justin Fields?
I mean, I'm notoriously a Justin Fields hater, so somebody who's not, please tell me.
Oh no, I'm not. I think Justin Fields is terrible. But at the end of the day, you're wondering, is he's been playing well the last 2 weeks. He got hurt, but if he comes back and he plays well, and he keeps doing what he's doing the last 2 weeks, even though he does throw the game away at the end of the game, if he keeps stat padding that way.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think there's a limit to how dumb organizations can be. I think they've finally reached their limit.
I get that, but I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback because they still already have a young quarterback, and they're just thinking, we don't want to move the money around.
You saw the Falcons. I mean, the Cardinals do it. They drafted
Speaking
Josh
of-
Rosen. They knew he wasn't the guy. They drafted Kyler Murray.
Well, the Cardinals
Fair
would be
enough.
the
It
next
happens.
pick.
It does.
Huh?
The Cardinals would be the next pick, and I think they'd take him.
I think they would take him.
That's
too.
where I think he goes.
he
If
would take
if
him
it
too.
trajects this way and that's the order, I think Cardinals at 3 would take him.
I think the Bears will still take him.
You think the Bears?
I think so.
I don't think the Bears are going to take him. I think the Bears are going to build around him.
I mean, like I said, and this is, doesn't sound like a real take, but it is a real take. At a certain point, there's a limit to how dumb an organization can be, because then the fans get involved, and I think the fans are very involved in Chicago right now. It's falling apart over there, similar to what we saw with Dan Snyder selling the team.
yeah.
At a certain point, you just have to sell it because no one likes you anymore. Like, everyone's turned on you, and the Bears are getting dangerously close. If they keep losing, which would give them, put them in a position to pick Caleb Williams, I think the fans eventually are going to turn on Fields and the organization.
Well, the Bears face the Raiders, then the Chargers, Saints, and Panthers. It's so funny. You face the Panthers, you're going to go in there really wanting to win, especially if they keep
'cause it
losing.
doesn't matter, yeah.
This is a must-win game.
Yeah.
Why? Because we get a better pick if we beat the Panthers. That's so funny.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
They'll be like, the more we beat them down, the worse they are. I think the Panthers might turn it around. I kind of think so. You know that
I
moment?
don't know.
Isn't that
They've
quarterback
got to
injured?
win a game. Like, you can't go
Bryce
0.
Young? No.
No. Oh, sorry. No.
Bryce Young just hasn't looked good.
The next week is the next 2 weeks. Well, actually, unfortunately, no longer in 2 weeks. But next week is the battle of the first round picks: C.J. Stroud versus Bryce Young. That weirdly, I feel like might be a winnable game for the Panthers, even though I doubt it. But then they face what would have been against Anthony Richardson, but instead,
Oh, that's a shame.
But I think they might beat
I think
the
he's
Colts.
out for the season now.
Yep.
Yes.
Very winnable game against the Colts, in my opinion. I think it's a very winnable game. They could do it.
Yeah.
And they get a bye week this week going into Texas, and I think that's going to help them have a better shot of beating
Yeah.
the Texans. So there are 2 winnable games coming up. I think they might win. Their schedule's easy. They have the Cowboys, and that's it. Every other team.
I thought you were starting off with easy teams saying the Cowboys.
No. They have the
Wow, you really
eliminate
think
the
they're pretenders.
Cowboys. Eliminate the Cowboys. It's an easy schedule. Texans, Colts, Bears, Titans, Bucks, Saints, Falcons, Packers, Jags, Bucks.
Jags are tough.
The Jags are tough and the Bucks are tough, but besides that,
Wait.
But they're
Bucks.
not crazy tough. None
Bucks
of
aren't
them.
that tough.
Bucks aren't that tough in your mind?
No.
No.
Saints are a tougher game than they are.
Yeah.
Are the Jags back in the U.S. for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a major factor.
Yeah, but
there.
they put what was the one game they put? I think they put Chiefs, Dolphins in Germany. I mean, what a bummer. That's going to be such a good game.
They put Chiefs Dolphins in
Yeah.
Germany. They flexed.
I think that's what it is.
And so
In Germany, I think it's Patriots Colts.
How mad do you have to be if you were a Dolphins fan that would have gone to the game?
very
Like a season ticket holder. I'd be sick.
that, and you want possibly one of the best games of the year. You have to wake up at 9:30 to watch it.
You're not even going to be ready to watch.
No, you're waking up already earlier than you do on a typical Sunday, and you're like going, football's already on? I thought football was supposed to, after lunch, afternoon football.
True.
I thought that it was the Patriots Colts, and
I think the Pats do play a game in Germany. I think there's 2.
do you think there's 2
Yeah.
games in Germany?
NFL.
That's
They have
it.
other sports. They have other
Yeah,
sports.
Assassin's Creed.
Really? That was the first one?
Yep, the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs and New England Patriots will make their debut in Germany, as they will. Those 2 games were right. Yeah, nice. Word.
I'm a very smart person. That's why I know.
Yeah, great. Good
Yeah.
for you, man.
Thanks for doing that, Ben. You could have just said he was right from the get-go, but now he had to defend himself, and now he says he's right.
No, I didn't think you were wrong. I
He's
just
just
thought
going to
there was
carry
only
that on
one.
his chest for the
No. We have the receipts. You guys were being haters. And you know what? I came out on top today.
Guys, I
We're not
have a
going to
new
stop
game.
hearing about this till at least next year.
I have a new game. It's game time.
That was a horrible transition again. I thought he was doing the McDonald's thing.
This is...
He was like, you know what?
Nope, copyright
To
infringement.
heck
We
with
can't.
copyright.
All right, here's the new game. It is called What's Their Fate? What's Their Fate? Here we will go over the UFC 294 fight card. We are not predicting who will win the fight. who are predicting how the fight will end. The winner, most correct predictions, will hold the I Am Smarter belt. Are you guys ready?
No.
Of course you're not.
Yes.
No, also.
This is UFC 294 Makachev versus Volkanovski Part 2. I'm excited for this fight. It's this Saturday. You excited, guys?
Nope.
Really?
Of course I'm excited.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. We're just going to do... Do you want to just do the main events, like the top?
Oh, we're not doing the entire undercard as
You
well
don't
with
want-
all
Do
these
you-
people who don't have
I was
pictures
gonna say.
on their ESPN profile?
Why would you want to?
Alrighty. I am going to put this out there right now. I'm totally going to botch some of these names.
Practice now. Aren't you almost Russian?
I'm Ukrainian.
Oh.
So yes.
Alright. So you guys ready?
He just has no idea what to do once conversations start. All right.
Tally-ho. Whatever we're talking about.
Alright. So,
He just did it again.
Do, 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 do. Game time.
alright.
Oh,
So
jeez. Please.
And aren't we doing the McDonald's theme song before? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, it's game time.
Great, now we have to cut all of it.
Oh, yeah, no, we have to cut all of it.
So guys, let's play a game. No, I'm kidding. We're going to go...
So we're not playing a game?
Stop it.
Okay, Dad.
We're going to go into the first fight, a bantamweight bout between Said
Wow, that was quick.
That was so fast.
All right, we are going to go into the first fight, which is a bantamweight bout between Segner Magomedov and Muin Gafarov. So who will be submitted? Will it
Knockout.
be knockout, or will it be a decision?
Knockout.
Knockout? Why?
Because most fights end in knockouts, and I don't know that much about these two fighters.
You are a boring person. What about you, Rob?
I'm going to say decision
Decision.
because these guys almost look identical, or my phone
That's a good call.
could be just blurry. So I
They
think
look
they're...
nothing alike.
Okay, so my phone might just be shot right now. Anyway,
I just look at the picture. Yeah, no, I see it too. Look nothing.
I was
alike.
looking at a different fight.
Which
My
fight?
bad. Anyway, so
Each of my Avenue.
This could get
I'm
this
saying
could get so dicey just looking through the fights.
I'm gonna say decision because they're both the same weight.
It's genius.
Will it be a unanimous or a split?
Split.
Fight is a middleweight bout between Ikram Alikrov and Wally Alves.
Huh?
Warley Alves. Jesus Crow. They can't have nicknames. Well, they do. But
No, I'm pretty sure all of them have
they,
nicknames.
all of them have nicknames, yeah.
I'll go for decision this time.
Split or unanimous?
I really have to decide this?
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right. You don't find that. KO or TKO for the first fight?
KO. I guess TKO.
TKO? Okay, cool. Now it'll be even more. Which submission?
I'm saying knockout because Aliskerov is 15 pounds heavier with a 4-inch more reach. And,
Okay.
That's just a big body moving real fast.
I mean, you can't argue with science, Rob.
You're going KO?
Yep.
All right.
KO or TKO, Rob?
No,
I said KO.
That was a joke. All right.
Lights out.
Light heavy. Well, it doesn't matter. I was kidding earlier. But light heavyweight bout between Magomed Ankalev.
You got to mess this one up on purpose just to keep with it.
Magomed Ankalev versus Johnny Walker.
Knockout. Rob, do these two look alike too?
Almost.
What?
I'm saying this one ends in submission.
Submission.
A Johnny Walker fight?
Yeah.
All right, maybe.
All right.
Hey, listen. Most of the time when Johnny Walker's involved, someone's gonna black out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Next.
That was a great whiskey joke that I don't think either of you got.
Because I'm just looking at Magamov's stats, and he just knocks people out. So
Okay.
I don't know who's going to submit who, but
All right, so up next week, yeah. But remember, in the tie fight, someone was submitted, and they're both knockout artists. So
There you go.
he's preying on an outlier fight. But what should be a co-main, but it's not. It's just the leading up to is a middleweight bout between Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev at middleweight. So this is at Khamzat's weight class. So how is this going down?
This
Knockout.
Knockout by Kamaru?
That
I
wasn't
don't
a
have to
part of the
decide
game.
that.
I know you don't, but I'm just thinking because you said that you had Kamaru winning, so I was like, you think he's gonna be the one?
It doesn't matter who's winning.
You're,
I said knockout.
you're gonna be sassy about that.
Yeah, these are your rules. You're the one talking about how the rules need to be black and white, and now we have to do all of our
whoa!
players. I'm
Gray
sorry.
area.
Gray area alert. Anyway, I'm saying this one ends in a decision split.
Split decision. All right.
No. A decision split.
All right. Oh, like a draw.
No.
I hear so annoying. All right, and the final fight of the night will be between Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. Who is going to come away knocked out? Will they be
Decision.
Decision, split, or unanimous?
I forgot I have to decide this. Unanimous.
I'm going TKO for this fight.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now for fun, can we pick who we think are going to win? Basically, I want just the final two fights. Do you think Kamaru's going to win, or do you think Chimaev's going to win?
Wait.
I could see it going either way.
I think Chimaev's going to win.
I could see it going
I don't
either
see
way.
how Kamaru wins.
I think Volk wins in a decision.
I think Volk wins against Islam, but I could see that going either way. It
Uh,
really could, because Islam, I don't think has fought since Volk, so I think he has way more like rest. But I think, I'm sorry, but I think Chimaev is gonna send Usman to the
Yeah, but
Shadow Realm?
to
Well,
the,
to where?
to the shadow realm that
gaps
Israel Adesanya is in.
in Chimaev's metaphorical armor here. And Kamaru, don't forget, just maybe a year ago was the best pound for pound fighter we had in the UFC.
Yeah, but do you see how he came back against Leon Edwards? It
Yeah,
wasn't a
it
great
didn't look
fight.
good.
I'm telling
Anyway,
you,
my
one
picks
one
are,
loss
uh,
can
can destroy you.
Look at Mike Tyson; he's
I
the most
know.
infamous. One loss can destroy everything.
I know.
That and the prison.
He got better from prison.
Well,
No,
his career, not his reputation.
Yeah,
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
I was
See how
Do you think this
scary
is a show to debate people's reputation?
he
a little bit
didn't seem like a good guy afterward.
after going to prison.
Yeah, they're going to prison. I don't think he was a good guy.
Anyway, my two fights, I have Usman and Volk.
You gotta go. I think everyone's just rooting for Volk.
How could you not?
I know.
I started the show with a good eye, mate, so I have to go with the Australian guy.
Yeah, I think everyone's pulling for Usman, and I'm pulling for him. I
mean,
I
he's
don't
at
see how
plus
he gets
285.
I don't see how he gets out of this.
And Volk's at plus 270. Their odds are not good.
How is Volk's odds so bad?
Because
He lost last time?
Yeah, he lost
But he
last time.
barely lost last time.
I think Volk has a decent shot to win this fight. I think plus 270 is a little bit skewed. I think Kamaru is a little bit proper at 285, but I could definitely see him winning this fight.
But I think it's good for.
I could also see him getting embarrassed.
Usman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I could also see Chimaev losing his entire hype if Usman wins this. This is
Yeah.
honestly unless this fight is wildly close, these two could really lose their reputation if this is in one round,
True.
regardless of who.
But, I mean, Khamzat is just so young, it doesn't really matter.
By the way, do you think that's why Adesanya's walking away to let Usman take a chance at middleweight?
Similar to Justin Fields, I am a pretty notorious Israel Adesanya disliker. I'm not a hater because he is so good at fighting, but I don't like Israel Adesanya. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty on brand for Israel Adesanya
Why?
to walk away. I just think it is. He's always been one for the dramatic.
He has.
He's gonna
Always.
he's gonna be back in like 3 UFC cards. And
Probably.
Yeah.
But he's got to sell the tickets, right? He's got to, do some dances. He's got to wear all those cool costumes and
That's
give
crazy. He
himself
has
some cool
not been as good as
nicknames.
he used to be. You both were right when we talked about the last fight that he did with, and we're all saying he's got this, but I think it was Rob that brought up his previous record did not show that the fight was against Strickland was going to be as easy. Yeah, that was Rob.
Good eye.
Look at me, knowing things, saying words. That's why I'm here, baby.
He just says bold takes.
For those of you that didn't see that, which is all of you, he just did a little shimmy dance, and it was painful.
We need to talk to Rob after this show.
Saying words, doing things, baby. Did it again.
He did it again.
Jim Crow. But our final story of the evening for us, because we could be listening to this in the morning, but it's the evening for us. In the NFL, there was some...
Did that really need to be said?
In the NFL, there were some crazy upsets. To start, the Browns, without their starting quarterback, defeated the undefeated 49ers 19-17. Later that day, the Jets, without their starting quarterback, defeated the undefeated Eagles 20-14. Which of these losses was more embarrassing? And also, which win was more season-altering?
It was a good day for backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, for real.
Tyrod almost did it, too.
Yeah.
I was at the Jets-Eagles game, so I got to watch that unfold, and that just looked like sloppy football in the second half by the Eagles. It didn't even look like the Jets won it for watching most of the game, because the Eagles just had control a majority of the time, and then Hurts threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
It's you throw 3 picks, it's gonna come back to bite you.
So I can't say I'm shocked by either loss, truthfully, because the Jets are a good team aside from their quarterback. And the Eagles are a beatable team. They're good, but they're beatable. And the Niners, I can't see this happening if Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, and Christian McCaffrey all don't go down in the game. So I'm not really concerned with either. I think the Eagles are exactly what we thought they were, and I think the 49ers still are too, because none of the injuries to their 3 best players are what it appears to be similar now.
They're the best team in football. Just they always get hurt, dude. They just always get hurt.
Always.
But I think the more embarrassing is the Eagles. I think that at the end of the day, they were supposed to be the best team in the NFC after the way they ended last season. They were the best. They really had a serious shot of winning that Super Bowl if it weren't for Patrick Mahomes and just sloppy defensive play calling. They would have won the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, throwing Patrick Mahomes in there as a whole is kind of crazy because they have to have a quarterback.
Yeah, but it's also Patrick Mahomes in the postseason.
Yeah, I guess.
Meaning, it's like saying...
But it's the Super Bowl. It's assumed that the other team is going to be a good team.
But you get my point. Like, it was a...
Rather a super team?
I mean, really, the Hurts fumble. But, I mean, this is here nor there.
But still, at the end of the day, they were supposed to be touted as, especially with the losses and the Chiefs not looking as good this year. They're supposed to be the number 1 team in football. They have done really well going 5-0, but they never fully looked like that dominant team. And then at the end of the day, just like you said what happened in the Super Bowl, it just kind of feels like the Eagles shoot themselves in the foot a lot. And I just think that it's really embarrassing because they kind of got outed that they're a beatable team. And I think that it kind of falls a lot, and I know Philly fans are going to want to really fight me on this one, but I think it falls a lot on Jalen Hurts a little bit. I think Jalen Hurts shoots himself in the foot a little too often, and also, I have to put this out there, kind of like you could argue Brock Purdy, you could argue early career Tom Brady, you could argue a lot of these quarterbacks in great situations. No longer Patrick Mahomes, he's out of that controversy. But what happens when your pieces are taken away? What happens when your good pieces are taken away? And you wonder, we've seen what he's like with no good pieces. The year before their Super Bowl run. And we went to
Yeah, but he was young.
But he was young. You could argue that too.
He was young. He was a developing quarterback.
But I think that this kind of makes you, and you could look at the 49ers this exact same way with Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy isn't held to the same standard as Jalen Hurts.
True.
No, he's not.
So I'm looking at it like, you throw 3 picks, you didn't have your best game. It's kind of like, it's kind of making you kind of begin a questioning of them and a questioning of a lot of players on that team, even though I think that at the end of the season they're going to be phenomenal, everyone's going to forget about it. But it's moments like that you have that question kind of arise in your head, but you're not questioning anything with the 49ers as much as you kind of were after that Eagles game, at least in my opinion.
To me, I think it's just overreacting here. I don't see anything that we didn't see before.
You know what? To just harp off your overreacting, season's over for both the teams. Throw in the towel. Go get Caleb Williams.
I love it.
You can... Jeez, I think by now neither of those teams could get Caleb Williams because they've won too many games already. 5-0, you're out of the first pick. 4 wins and you're probably not getting the first pick. But anyway, I think that both teams are just fine. They're going to go make the playoffs and have great seasons. But I think that the Eagles was more concerning for people that are overreactors such as me. So we're going to get into the best segment of the week. Locks and upsets. Our current standings, me and Rob have new standings. Liam, you weren't there. So I am 6-1 with my locks. Rob is 5-2 with his locks. And Liam, you are 5-1 with your locks. For upsets, I am 1-6. Rob is 2-5. And Liam is 1-5. So guys, are we ready to do our locks and upsets of the week?
I got to take my lock first because I think Rob might take it.
What?
So I'm just going to put it out there. World Cup of Cricket. India minus 1,200 over Bangladesh. That's a lock. That's a lock if I've ever smelt one.
Okay.
And what is it, cricket?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
See, I was thinking along that same lane, right? But last week I went way too safe and picked the Georgia Bulldogs. So I don't think I can go that safe this week. So my pick this week is going to be the Sunday game, Week 6, Texas Rangers not Week 6, Game 6. Texas Rangers at Astros. Rangers win it to win the series.
Which game number?
Game 6.
Game 6, Astros win over...
What if they win before Game 6?
Rangers win over Astros. What?
What if they win before Game 6?
They won't. This is why it's a lock.
I made this decision. My lock of the week is the Game 2 between the Phillies and D-backs. I have the Phillies taking that win. I don't think they're going to lose.
Why is it that every lock of the week you pick like the game that's happening today?
And it's always lame.
Last week he tried to pick a game that was already in the 8th inning.
What?
Yeah, he didn't know the game started. Liam, what's your upset of the week?
So I got the Giants over the Commanders. Nice, simple, easy one. Obviously, that's going to hit.
All right. I going similar route. Football. Broncos over the Packers. Because it's in Denver.
I don't know if that's a reason to bet on the Broncos.
I know it's probably
crazy.
not, but something in my gut's telling me Broncos over Packers.
That's a good gut of yours, Rob. I like
they
it.
lose to the Jets in Denver? Whatever. But my upset of the week, I'm going UFC. My upset is going to be Volk over Islam Makhachev.
I like it.
I got Volk beat. I just want to root for him. And it's kind of giving me an excuse because it's now double win if he wins.
So what's your lock?
Game 2, Phillies win.
Oh.
Do you want me to change it?
No, that's fine.
I would like to thank you all for listening. You can follow us on our socials at Dear Hollow Heroes, and you can also email us through dearhollowheroes@gmail.com. Message us and let us know what you think about the topics discussed, or take it your own. Listen to us on most platforms where you get your podcast. Thank you, Liam and Rob, and have a wonderful rest of your day. See y'all.
Your dingo ain't my baby.
Bye.